Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of AskGufish. Now, before we jump into it, just a quick reminder plug thing. We have a Discord server. It's awesome. It's a great community. We talk about guitar, life. There's a lot of memes. I pull a lot of the questions for these AskGufish episodes from the Discord server as well. So if you're a Discord user, pop on by. The invite link will be in the description. And now let's jump into your questions. You've covered plenty of guitars, but are there any new amps this year that pique your interest? Good question, Chuck, so I'm not even gonna call you out for using the wrong peak. I'm playing, dude, it's all love. I mean, apart from the Rev Generator Mark IIIs, which are amazing amps, I actually bought a 120 even though I definitely do not need it, and I still have no regrets. There's been barely any new confirmed high-profile amp releases for 2021. All the hype has been about the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. It's supposed to be the next step in modeling / profiling technology, the future of digital guitar tone. I mean, we've probably all seen at least one video on the Quad Cortex by now. Like, all the big guitar YouTubers got one, Cries and small guitar YouTuber. But I mean, in some cases, it's almost indistinguishable from a real tube amp. In other cases, it's so close that, I mean, the character is so similar, tweak the EQ slightly, you can use it live or in the studio, I don't think anyone would notice. And the thing that really excites me about it too is the price. It does modeling, it does profiling, you can build entire virtual rigs with a captured amp, captured pedals, and a custom cab impulse response. You can store thousands of combinations, pull them all up on this small floor unit. It's just such a powerful tool for $1,600, which, yeah, is a fair amount of money, but compared to a boutique tube amp, even compared to other products in the field, it is very competitively priced. And the hardware is the most powerful in its class, so over time, it should get even better with software updates. It's just such an exciting product, even just from a tech standpoint. I mean, I love tech. I definitely watch way more tech YouTube than guitar YouTube. The Quad Cortex is a marriage of two of my favorite things, and I'm just so psyched for it to finally drop later this year. And the cloud community aspect too, where everybody starts using it to share captures of their rigs. Hopefully they'll find a good way to organize it because it has the potential to be awesome with equal potential to be an absolute mess. But yeah, I can't believe that I'm actually more pumped for a digital modeler / profiler thing than any real amp this year, but that's 2021 for you. This year is wild. Still love my tube amps though. I went a bit crazy with them second half of last year. I blame quarantine and cabin fever. You've seen them in the background, you've seen me use them. Don't worry, there will still be amp videos on the channel for sure. I really need to get around to doing them. Just some amps these days are built like Saturn V rockets. They are so complicated with so many features. I love playing through amps, but sometimes doing full run-throughs is a nightmare. You know what? One amp brand I do want to check out this year though is Shoutout. They're based out of Malaysia and they make affordable, hand-wired, inspired by versions of classic circuits. Well, affordable meaning Marshall wants over, what, $3,000 for a hand-wired JCM 800 reissue. Shoutout will do it for about half after shipping. Tube amps are expensive, man. Shoutout seem to specialize in British-style amps, and what's cool about them is since each is built to order, you can have them customized, have them factory modded before they ship to you. So you want a JCM 800 or a Silver Jubilee with a, what's a popular mod for those? A resonance control to get the speakers moving more. You can have them do it. And that's a super simple example. You can definitely get a lot crazier with it if you want to, but you get the idea. Relatively reasonably priced hand-wired tube amps customized to your liking. That sounds super interesting. From what little I've seen on YouTube, customers seem to love them. So I'm definitely interested in giving those a try. Actually, you know who else though? EVH. So the latest rumor is that EVH is bringing back the OG 5150 in some form. Because, okay, quick history recap. PV originally made the 5150 for Eddie Van Halen. Later, they made the 5152. Slight tweaks to the sound and individual EQ for each channel, but they still shared a lot of the same DNA, very closely related. Must resist Alabama jokes. And when he left to start EVH, PV rebranded the 5150s to the 6505 and 6505 Plus. That's when I got back there and the circuits remained unchanged. EVH launched the 5153 family, and from what I understand, they have very different circuits to the PVs. The sound is more modern, more refined. At least that's what Luke says, and that dude knows way too much about amp trivia. So you got all that? I know, it's way more confusing than it needs to be. So anyways, what it basically all means to you and me is that if you wanted the original untouched 5150 sound, EVH didn't have anything for you. You had to get a PV. And if you ask the hardcore amp snobs, you have to get one of the very first run block letter 5150s. But we're not gonna get into that because the point is the EVHs sound very different. So very recently, EVH hired James Brown, not the I Feel Good guy, although that song is a banger, but the guy who designed the 5150s with PV. He's actually done some work already voicing the 5153 Stealth 50 watt, I believe. And in November, EVH filed a trademark for the 5150 Iconic, and it's believed that's the amp pictured in Wolfgang Van Halen's January 4th and 6th Instagram posts. And by the way, did you see him perform with Mammoth on Kimmel? Amazing performance. So all that is pointing to a more OG block letter sounding amp from EVH. I mean, from the limited pictures we have of it, it even looks like the old PVs. So it'll be interesting to see what that actually is and what features it has. It can't just be a re-release of what's already out there under a different name, because at least when the market calms down a bit, it's been going a little crazy recently. A used 6505 or a 6505 Plus is usually like $500, even cheaper if you buy a local. So is it gonna be all the original 5150 and 5152 channels in one package? Maybe add a crystal clear clean channel found on the other EVH amps? Maybe even modern features like an attenuator, because 5150s are loud, or the ability to drop it down from 120 watts to 20 watts or something? I don't know, there's a lot you can do with it, because the 5150 is, I mean, it's still used all the time, but it launched in 1992 before anyone was even thinking about all the modern features we have today. So maybe the Iconic gets launched this year, maybe it doesn't, maybe it never gets launched at all. We're gonna have to wait and see, but either way, it's an interesting one to think about. Like, if you could re-release the 5150, how would you update it? What features, realistic or not, would you include? Oh, you know what else? Mark Tremonti's MT100. The MT15 is a beast. It's like a full triple rack sound in 15 watt form. I mean, the damn power section has two full-size 6L6 power tubes in there. The thing is a little beast. Now, back in December 2019, Tremonti said they were already on revision 4 of the 100 watt version. All the tones were there. They were just trying to eliminate all the hum and hiss at lower volumes. I mean, the prototype is already being used in the studio. It was the main amp on Seven Dust Blood and Stone last year. It's gotta be coming soon. I would bet it was that production got wrecked by the thing that happened last year that's still going on now that I'm not allowed to talk about, otherwise I'll get demonetized. Apparently it's a combination of the best parts of a rectifier and Uberschall, and it's got the best clean tone he's ever heard. I mean, I love everything Tremonti does, and I love his taste in gear. A Tremonti Core 10 top in Whale Blue is a dream guitar of mine. Actually, yeah, that's probably the amp that I'm most excited to see more of this year, if it does come out this year. But yeah, I'll throw it to you. There have been a lot more requests for amp demos to mix it up from just guitars. Videos of the Engel Savage Mark II, the Hughes & Kettner Grandmeister 40 Deluxe, the Black Spirit 200, the Orange Rock Reverb Mark III, and the Rev Generator Mark III are on the way. Is that enough, or are there other brands you'd like to see on the channel? And I'd love to hear from you guys as well. What amps are you hyped for? Are you excited to try out for this year? They can be new, they can be old, doesn't matter. Share your hype. Before we get into the rest of it, I want to take a quick second to give a massive shout out to Connor Morse and the rest of the amazing supporters over on Patreon. You guys are incredible. If you like what I do, want to directly support the channel, you can join the Patreon community. Link is in the description. The support has been amazing. We're pushing on 100K, which is insane. As always, no pressure. It's there if you want it. All I ask is that if you enjoy the content, but you're part of the 55% who aren't subscribed, subscribe. It's free and it massively helps out. And make sure to hit the notification bell as well. I know they don't always work, but YouTube might let you know when I upload a new video, and the algorithm likes to see that metric. So that massively helps out too. And now into the next question. What's the black bar across the strings on your headstock? I've seen you use it in a lot of videos. Oh, we haven't had one of these in a while. That is a Jimmy clip. It's nothing super crazy. It's just a string dampener that's easy to move from guitar to guitar. Thoughts on the new Kramer Nightswan models? I kinda love them and hate them at the same time. Okay, so like Kramer is just not my style of guitar at all. Kramer seems like a company that is firmly stuck in the 80s, early 90s, and has no intention of leaving ever. Like, all the new releases are a bit cheesy and dated. And there is a certain charm to that with the Nightswans and the Jersey Star. I mean, they are still cheesy and dated, but it's great. They don't take themselves that seriously. I mean, look at the first Nightswan they re-released. It's got freaking polka dots on it. So there's two new ones, one in jet black metallic and one in vintage white with an Aztec graphic. Mahogany bodies, 3-piece bolt-on maple necks, ebony fingerboards with 16-inch fingerboard radii, Floyd Rose 1000s, 2 Seymour Duncan JBs. The pickup placement is a little weird, like if you don't use small picks, like Jazz 3s for example, it might get in the way of picking. Both go for $8.99, which for the specs, that's a fair price. Just when it comes to Kramers, they have a place, just not in my collection. They look fun, and I think you put it best. Don't hate them, but don't particularly love them either. It's kind of like VR. Down to play, have no intention of ever owning. I mean, we're guitarists, right? If it's got 6 strings, we'll play it, even if it's ugly. Still really think they should be considering adding a Prophecy type series to their lineup to cater to fans of modern guitars. But with a Kramer twist, like, I don't know, a Beretta in Tiger Red with an angled Fishman fluence. Or I don't know, a Jersey Star with triple fluences. Just something, anything that combines Kramer's legacy with a show of desire to move forward. Because as I said in my NAMM 2021 brand tier list video, everything they've introduced this year has been Kramers for Kramer people, which is great for existing Kramer fans, but they're not doing anything to bring in new fans to the brand. But yeah, that's just my take on the new Kramers. What do you think? You love them, hate them, meh on them? Let me know what you're thinking. Are you gonna buy a cheap, low-quality pink guitar and make it a Barbie guitar? No. And now it's time to hear from yet another adoring fan. It's the high praise of the week. Yeah, obviously mom's paying when you get it free, you dweeb soy boy. Listen, man, your mom is a strong, independent woman. What she does with her money when we're done for the evening is none of your business. Hashtag protect sugar mamas. On to more positive things. The music recommendation this time is, if you somehow haven't heard it yet, please check out Distance by Mammoth WVH. It's Wolfgang Van Halen's band. It's his tribute to the late, great EVH. I'm not even gonna say anything else about it. I love it, and you need to listen to it. And that will do it for this episode of AskGufish. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit the like button. Leave your thoughts on anything discussed or your questions for future episodes in the comments. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, all the YouTube things. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video. I'm actually not sure which one is coming up next, but yeah, I'll see you there.